I built this, a new front end for my racing lawnmower with a rack and pinion from a FIAT, but I can still do this. So let's fix that, and also let's make sure that this front end fits through my door. To give me the space to actually work on it, I have to remove the engine, so I will start with that. I'm pretty sure it's from the time when it was rolled, but this plate here is completely bent. I have two options: try to fix it or ignore it. Here's another close-up of how my steering was working. There's the sprocket with the chain, which then would wrap around and end up here. This bit was for the direction, but everything in between here is getting removed. My plan is that this will basically go straight, come out here somewhere, where then we'll move this to. And for this bit, I have a little 90-degree gearbox. So let's lift it up and then remove a bunch of stuff. First thing I will do is actually drain the fuel tank, these pulleys and gear. Since I took the engine out, roughly 8 hours have passed and it looks like this. Not a big difference, but I have a plan now and I know what to do. So the tricky part was this gearbox down here. You can see it right here. And next up, I have to cut this beam again because it's a little bit too short. As you can see right here, it's missing a little bit. I'm still trying to figure a lot of stuff out, but I need to build my own coupler. I bought those, which has a 12mm on one side and a 10 on the other side. And what I actually need is 10 to 14. Because I have the shaft coming from here and then going into a 90-degree gearbox over here. And the gearbox is a little bit small with 10mm. However, my thought was I can just drill this out. And technically I could, but that would make it very weak. So what I decided to do, I'm going to use this 25mm axle, drill a hole of 8mm and then one of 40mm the other way. And then it should be a coupler. After drilling for over 45 minutes and learning how to sharpen drill bits, I made this. On that side it's 10mm, on this side 14, and I tapped it with an 8mm thread. So this is gonna connect this shaft to that little gearbox. I also ground down a flat spot on the shaft, which results in that this won't move when the bolt is in. So I just have to align it properly, tighten it, and then it should be really well connected. This is how it looks now. I need to check if there is actually enough clearance or if I need to shorten those bolts. But that's quickly done. But when I turn it, you can see nothing happens. That's because I also need to do the same here. This is clearly not strong enough and it's just rotating. I'm rotating now and you can see the shaft underneath is not spinning. But I don't have more time today. I worked like 10 hours on it, so it takes a long time to do simple things. But tomorrow I'm back at it again. It's the next day and I start off making another one of those, but I ran into a problem. This is the spot where the coupler will go, but this bolt I won't be able to tighten the way it is right now. And worse than that, it will hit both of those bolts. So I need to make a custom bolt. My idea is that I basically find the length, which means that this one is all the way in and this one is only sticking out a little bit. And then I will cut it off. And basically use the angle grinder so I can use a flathead or a Phillips. So this is what I came up with. Now I can use a screwdriver and just turn this slowly in. That should be perfect. I put it all together. It's not finalized. I still need to put some bracing in, but let's have a first look at it. I tried to put the camera angle so you can see this beam down here going to the gearbox, connected to this shaft, connected to the steering wheel. There's a little bit of slack, but I think that's all there is. Looks pretty good. So this is full lock to the left. There was one rotation. 1 3/4, so close to 2 rotations for lock to lock. It's a bit much for my taste. I would have liked to come to 30 degrees without moving the hands. I can adjust these one step closer, but that would actually double it. So maybe I should try it and see how that goes. First glance, because there's a little bit of slack, and I'm worried that this one will fall out. This one is actually quite short. Because I cut it the way I did, it won't spin if it's tight. but what might happen is that it falls off. So what I want to do, add a plate like this, which then attaches to the side, make sure that this one can't jump up. And that actually makes a big difference because it secures it quite good in this axis, but also this will not be able to jump off. And this will be tight enough to that there's no slack in spinning. The only thing what I'm considering is to adjust is my steering angle. So what I did now is change the throw of the knuckles. I made 5 holes in this part here and I put it one closer, meaning that the throw is gonna be more aggressive. I only did it on that side and not on this side, so let's see. This is steering wheel straight, 180-degree turn. You get to 45 degrees. So that's literally when you do like this. And I like that one much more. That one is, I would say, close to 40 degrees. But this one is more like 20 degrees. And it makes sense because I literally doubled the distance of the throws. It's gonna be very reactive and maybe a little bit snappy. But I rather have that than having to move my hands over in the corner and fall off the lawnmower. I will go with this setup. I will also turn the other one around. I'm happy that I checked it out. I will have to adjust my toe in because it's a different distance, but I have to do a full alignment anyway. This actually got me quite excited. Here it is on the floor. Oh, it's so easy to steer. What the... All the slack is just from this being incredibly loose. So let me show you what I was working on for the last 3 days. As you can see, the lawnmower is still in the air and everything is connected from the rack and pinion down to the gearbox and from the other side up to the steering wheel. And when I turn it, it works, right? But look at this. I realized when I spin the steering wheel, there's a point where the gear doesn't turn, but the shaft on it turns. Which shows me that I'm fucked. I have a week to get it done. Today's the 31st. The race is the 8th. I need to pack it the 7th. So this is the state of the lawnmower. Engine is there. This is the state of the workshop. Stuff everywhere. So I am busy. I'm trying to figure out what I will do. I clearly have to go for a different route. I could either connect another U-joint and support it somehow so it doesn't wiggle around. And then I thought, wait, isn't this from a gearbox? Yes, it's from this one. And maybe I can fix it. I cleaned it up a little bit. And if you look at the gears right here, you can see that it's like bending up. That's because there's a lot of material missing. Also, when putting it together, the amount it interacts with the other gear is minimal. This one is also missing a lot of teeth, and I have to come up with a different solution. After rubbing my 2 brain cells together, I got an idea. So what I have here is I'm gonna add another shaft here instead of a gearbox. And on the other side it looks something like this. So rack and pinion into the shaft. This is all like it was. But then the shaft comes out in an angle here. So what I have here in the middle of this shaft is a bearing, which makes it smooth to spin this. And I can weld something to it. So this will keep the angle and keep it in place. And those is all I have right now. But what I will use them for is to keep the shaft from moving up and down. So that should actually keep it quite sturdy and quite nice in place. I think I finally did it. Check it out. Wheels are straight, going to the right. This is like max angle here. There's a little bit of slack, but that is also because nothing is really bolted up and I need to strengthen this. So I'm okay with that. But it's what I will do now is weld the crap out of that. I just finished welding everything, and I was gonna try it one last time before I put the wheels on and put it down. So let me steer to the left. And let me steer to the right. Do you realize something? I want to go that way. The wheels go that way. Let's rotate the steering wheel that way. Yeah. I thought I was done. Not even close, baby. Like, I know how to fix it, but it's gonna suck to do. So let's have a look at it together. Maybe you can explain to me what I should do. So the pulley is gonna be here, right? So my thought was to have the setup on that side. That's still not. Obviously, I could move this one over here by rotating it around. And the pulley is pretty much in the center as far as I know. So like, I guess I could do all this work I did again and mirror my entire setup. It's always faster the second time around. Well, I'm either gonna jump off a bridge in the next clip or I'm gonna have it done. My life, man. I have a week to finish it and everything is in pieces. So let's see what's not working this time. Steering to the right. That's lock. That's lock. Little bit of slack. But I think if I put those, then it will also be reduced, but left, right, and more importantly, it's not binding up. This was way harder than it needed to be, honestly. I spent so much time on this, like 50, 60 hours, and it should have taken 20. But I still need to do some final welds to make sure that nothing comes apart. Let's hope it works. Oh. It's so easy. I definitely need to brace this, but I need to see how much space I actually have, because the fuel tank needs to be here, and then I can weld a beam from here to there, and that will really stiffen this up. It needs a complete alignment. That's no surprise. They're not pointing in the same direction, but... So that is full lock without lifting the hands. That's actually quite a lot. Yeah. So in the race scenario, you never have to lift the hands to continue steering. And I also have acronym for some reason. Acronym is basically that the wheels don't turn the same amount. This morning I wasn't sure if I can go to the race. Now I feel fairly confident. Tomorrow I can slap it all back together. That's pretty nice. I also measured the front. There are 109 centimeters and the rear is 106, so it's not looking as goofy as I might have expected. I guess the camber helps as well a little bit, but yeah. I love it. Since I'm happy with the steering, I tidied up the wiring and now I'm gonna strengthen it. So this is what holds the steering, just singular beam. And I want something coming up from here, down here somewhere. However, the fuel tank will be here, so I don't have a lot of space. And something else I want to do is strengthen this. I want a beam come from here to this part. Maybe something like this. So I'm gonna start with that. I'm gonna remove 6 bolts, lay it on the table and take it from there. I laid my front end on the table and I prepared 3 cuts, 2 of those, which will go here, and this one, so I can actually unbolt the entire front end from the frame. So now I will just hold it roughly here and then weld it. Now they look like this, and they're gonna be much stronger. I actually quite like it how it is. It's also not gonna interfere with anything, I made sure of that. So next up, I'm gonna do the same here. I have this plate which I previously had mounted here, and it's pretty strong. I will cut this bearing off, then I can just weld the beam from here over there, and that should already give it a lot of sturdiness, because there's also this plate here, which makes it quite strong side to side, so it's just this direction towards me and the engine. So yeah, and that's what I want to beef up. I think I figured out what I want to do. The biggest challenge will be to add the fuel tank in a way that it doesn't interfere with the engine and doesn't interfere with the steering. If I just plug it here, it might actually work out, but I still want to strengthen this. If I put a big beam with something like this, which actually reaches nearly all the way in the top and far down, then this is in the way of the fuel tank. What I came up with is I tested a pipe. It's very rusty, but it's thick metal, so I can clean it up and then it's good. And if I just place it roughly around here, something like this. I know it's not that high up, but there is still some triangulation going on, and I don't think that this beam will actually bend that much. I have one of those in there, so bending it will actually be quite tough. And even though it's just supported far down, I don't think this top part will actually bend that much. I welded the support beam in, and it's much stiffer. It made a huge difference. And next up, I will actually already modified this plate, and I modified it so the fuel tank can be here, and then I just need to push it in place. I cleaned it all up and gave a little bit of paint. I added this plate where I cut some sections so I could add the steering, and the other section is where we'll add the fuel tank. And I hope that this fits, because I think the engine stops right here. You can see the slots, and it's gonna be a tight squeeze, but there's also a little bit of a gap right here, and I can even put it a little bit further over there. I could also cut this plate back here, so I could add this one a little bit further back, but I'm waiting with that because that gives actually all the stability from a steering wheel. Next up, I will probably have to put the engine back in. So what I did is bend this plate back here, and that is for the stability of the steering wheel. But now I can just get it like 2 centimeters, close to 1 inch further back. And I also made 2 cuts here and had to extend those. That is for the fuel line. And instead of being out here, where there's like a gap, I can actually get it in between that and get it all the way in there. It fits. The engine is mounted and all the wiring is connected, except for the battery in case I need to keep on welding. Next up, I wanted to fit the bonnet to see how it fits and then go from there. Now it's time for the most important part of the video. Let's see if the lawnmower even fits through the door. Easy peasy. 2 centimeters on each side, so like 1 inch on each side. But it also can't be much wider than that. Let's go. It's so freaking loud. 43. It can go much faster. It can definitely go much faster, but I lost the exhaust as I can see from here. Check this out, dude. So I know it was kind of a quick drive, but my exhaust fell off. It got super loud. I'm really happy with the steering actually. It feels really solid. It's a steering I can trust. And that's actually the most important thing, that I have the feeling it's not just gonna suddenly snap and fail or something stupid. There's also barely slack in it. But I need to do an alignment, caster, camber and toe. The steering wheel is currently pointing that way. It should be pointing straight when I want to drive straight. I feel I have more grip in the front than in the rear right now, which is a bit funny because I'm not that used to it, but I quite like it. It really feels that when you turn, it goes the direction, and it still feels light and nimble, and that's what I like the most. And the next video, it's gonna be the big race. Before the race, I need to adjust all the things. Let me know in the comments if you want one video where in the beginning I show you how I adjusted and got race ready with doing the alignment, checking my tires, brakes and so on, and then go racing, or should I make it in 2 videos? My friend is coming over. He's driving this one for the first time on Friday. And we'll probably do some small test things, figuring out how we want to refuel. Since it's a 2.5 hour race, there will be refueling, there will be driver changes and lots more. So that's gonna be a great episode. By the way, this was episode 50, so thank you for all the people who support me and subscribe. If you haven't yet, maybe consider subscribing. Stay healthy, enjoy your projects, and see you in the next episode.